I'm one of those weird people that like I've turned my hobby, like my passion and my hobby into a job and a career, and I love it. I don't know if that just makes me hyper focused or like addicted. Am I addicted to art? I might be addicted to art. Hey everybody, my name is Emmy Klein and I'm an artist here in Raleigh, North Carolina. If you have been watching my series here, you know I'm trying to complete the Pantone Postcard Painting Challenge before I leave for my residency in France in October of this year. Now, so far I am a fourth of the way done, officially. I'm so excited. But that means I've gotten 25 of the 100 cards, and I have this many days left before I go to France, which means if you watched last week, you know I doubled down, just so I wouldn't lose so much time that I had skipped. And then immediately after posting the video, I skipped a week because I got really busy at work, and then I was supposed to have a fun weekend, and then I started really panicking and being like, oh my gosh, what if I do all 5 of them in one day, and then I could just knock them out. And then I took a step back from my complete insanity and decided to just skip the week because it was already like Thursday or Friday at that point, and I was supposed to be leaving town for the weekend to have a fun weekend because I really needed one, and I just decided to just not. But at the end of the day, I still want to try my best to finish this challenge, and since I skipped another week, I still only have 3 weeks extra within the amount of time that I have to finish this challenge. So I'm not going to double down and try and do 10 this week because that was really hard. I am going to shoot for my normal 5, and if I can complete more, I will. If I cannot, I'm still going to be okay with that. So yes, today is officially Tuesday, and I need to get started because I had a very short work day today, even though it was a cluster. Hopefully I can beep that out in post. But today was a cluster. But everything is all good. Everything just happened so quickly, and we had to scramble and get things done as quickly as possible with work. But it surprisingly was a very short work day for me, and not gonna complain. So now I have a little extra time. So what do I do with the extra time that I have from my job? I work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm addicted. But I'm gonna get started, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, so like I said, I got started on Tuesday, which is very rare for me. You know, Tuesdays are normally my busy day, but I rolled the die and landed on 3, which is animal, one of my favorite subjects ever. And then I pulled out this really fun warm gray kind of a color called Moon Rock. And not gonna lie, as soon as I knew I was going to be painting an animal on that specific color, the only thing I wanted to do was a Weimaraner dog. I don't get to paint dogs very often in general, and that color just works so perfectly. So what I actually did is made a gray, but I also warmed that gray up with that burnt umber. So jet black and white, you know, for the basic gray, and then, you know, adding in those nice warm tones. And then just various values of that. And then eventually I get here to the background, which is a really fun, bright kind of blue color. So I wanted the kind of a more green blue, so I went with the Prussian blue. I thought that would go well with the warmer gray, and it does. So I mixed a little bit of white with that, and then I actually went in and tried to pull that kind of blue colors into the dog, just so it can kind of have some play with the warms and cools. But Also just a touch of carmine for the pinks in his nose and his little snoot. And then just a couple finishing touches, and look at this distinguished gentleman. He's so fancy and regal. So, I might have gotten a little distracted this week. I definitely have been working on my studio, and not painting postcards. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Essentially, I keep saying I've just moved into this apartment, and clearly this is why things are changing. The issue being is that I'm just moved in and everything is beige. Beige walls, beige plate covers, beige floor. My whole home is beige. And I don't do beige. Beige is clearly, I don't do beige. So my landlord's awesome. And I have been dying to get the beige out of the studio. So I also really needed to set up the studio in a manner that it's going to work for me, for recording, for you guys to have a better view, because before this, my desk was just kind of shoved into a corner on a wall. And I think this is going to work better for us recording these postcards. So, sorry I got so distracted this week. It's Saturday morning. I know, really bad. I was doing work things all week, and then I was also trying to tackle this at night. So I just kind of lost track of time. But I'm going to still knock out as many postcards as I can today. And I just actually wanted to just pop in here and ask you guys to tell me whether or not this view works better than the previous views that I had. And yeah, if you see a totally change of viewpoint and color of everything surrounding us, this is why. But I need to stop rambling and get back to painting. Otherwise, I've lost another week. We don't want to do that. So, let's get to painting. So, obviously, the rest of the cards were done on Saturday because I was out of time. But I hope you guys are ready to board the struggle bus with me because, yeah, I just rolled abstract. And then I pulled this incredibly funky green card. So, buckle up, kids. I am your captain, Frustrated Fiona. And you're about to watch the train wreck that just happened. So I had in my mind an idea of a really cool looking brush stroke coming down like the center of this card and going over the words. And as you can see, I tried so hard to make it work, and I ended up hating it twice. And you know what I thought? Maybe it needs another color. You know what it did not need? That awful yellow ochre. So, after getting incredibly frustrated for the second time, I wiped it clean, and then I walked away for a moment just to kind of calm myself down because I was so frustrated. So, I came back with a totally different idea in my head, and essentially just made another huge mess. But I stuck with a very, very simple palette, and I decided to at least challenge myself a little bit by getting something that was kind of on the opposite side of the color wheel. So this really fun permanent orange and that permanent green light that was similar to the original color of the card. And I just was smushing color around and kind of where the Viridian that I had used in that first couple attempts had stained the card. I just wanted to obliterate any memory of that. And then you can see I went in with a gold Posca marker, which kind of saved it and also sort of made it look like bedazzled fungus. It reminds me of cherry blossoms and fungus at the same time, so that's where I left this card at, and I was just ready to move on. So I grabbed the book again and rolled the die to land on a very happy category, number 4, which is food. And then I pulled a card called Fur, which is kind of ironically almost identical to the new color of my walls. So after I got that, I decided, since it was food, and since I had such a rough start of the day, your girl needed a pick-me-up and a really, really good photo reference. I did not want to actually, I was looking at pictures of donuts, and I was like, you know what? It's Saturday. Dunkin' Donuts is open. I need donuts. And, couldn't figure out which one I wanted to paint. So this is me doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And so the one with red sprinkles won. And the win was essentially me getting to eat it first. So my painting reference was the one with chocolate frosting and sprinkles. And let me tell you, the process of painting a donut is great. The process of painting a donut you know you're gonna eat, even better. So I started with the kind of pastry portion of the donut, that anywhere where there wasn't actually frosting or sprinkles. And I was building up, all those layers and, kind of the area that made it a donut without chocolate frosting. And then I went in with the burnt umber and then a little bit of that burnt sienna. Then the aqua blue as a highlight. My lights in my studio were very, very cool, so that highlight was also kind of almost a blue tone, which is really cool. But then I had the really fun task of dotting on all the sprinkles, which just made me so happy, and did that donut taste good. All right, so after my donut extravaganza, I was ready to roll the die again, and I landed on 2, which is portrait. And I swear I do not plan these. I mean, clearly I'm rolling a die and getting, things I don't want, like abstract, but every time I roll portrait, it's some kind of a skin tone. Like, it's been all types of skin tone. Although this winter wheat kind of almost matched me. It was a little bit more on the yellow side. But this one, I decided to go a little different than my other cards. I actually, sketching in the main kind of placement of her face. And I was actually very reliant on this Montana marker, which is an acrylic marker in black. I was just doing mostly line work and filling in the dark areas of her hair, and also, side note, stopped for some solid puppy snuggles. Lola needed some scratchies and a little bit of love, so don't forget to love on your puppy in the middle of arting. But anywho, I get back to it, and continue to fill in those areas of her hair and all of the darkness of the shadows and everything. But I was really kind of torn between even adding in any kind of color. And just for anybody who's curious, she was doing the funniest kind of weird duck face thing. Just go check out the reference. The link is in the description below. But I did decide to add in pops of color here and there. I thought it just needed a little something, and I really wanted to separate her from the background as well. So I blocked out the background in just white, and then I popped that into her eyes. Ironically enough, the highlight in her eyes, the paint was a little too fluid, like I had mixed in too much water, so it kind of spread. But added in a little bit of, pinks in her cheek and her lips, and then the blue for her shirt, and then, revised my lines, and that was it. So I was on a roll at this point. I was really warmed up and liking how my cards were turning out. And of course I rolled the happy category of food. But then I pulled out this blue card, and that kind of stumped me because it was like a light baby blue, and I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, like, blue doesn't really naturally occur in food. Like, I know there's blueberries, but that is a wrong shade of blue for that. So I decided to go the complete opposite on the color wheel and go orange. And what better to paint than shrimp? It actually really made me want to eat shrimp, but I, had some self-control this time. So I actually didn't go in with any kind of like a pencil sketch on this one. I mean, even if it was slightly off, it would read as shrimp, so I wasn't too worried about it. But, building up the layers just like I normally do. This one I actually did use that Jaune Brilliant to kind of sketch in the base tone, and then layer on top of that, go darker in some areas, lighter in others, just to kind of build the form. And then I took this Prussian blue, and because blue is the opposite of orange, when you mix that in with that permanent orange, it gave me kind of a neutral tone. And then a little bit of that red gave me a little bit of a purpley tone, all of which worked really, really well as the fork. So this one was fun, and just a happy little card. So by this time it was getting a little late, but I wanted to grab the die and roll one last time. Yeah, I rolled an abstract. I was very tempted to just pretend like this never happened, but I was determined to just make it happen, even though I pulled sunshine out of the stinking book. Yeah, I was thrilled. But I got on with it anyway. I grabbed the permanent yellow deep and kind of added in these spots, which reminded me of amoebas and a giraffe. But then I wanted to go again opposite of the color wheel. So I grabbed violet and mixed it in with a little bit of white to get a really pretty like lavender kind of color. And then I kind of connected all the little, permanent deep yellow spots with this color and made it almost appear like kind of like a purple slime was crawling around there like it was alive. I don't know what I was doing. I was playing with texture and color, and then I started adding in the lemon yellow as well. I did mix it in with the permanent yellow deep because I didn't want there to be that bright of a yellow. I thought the brightness of the yellow of the original color of the card was good. I wanted that to be the brightest area, but adding in these dots, I feel like it really brought it together on top of the purple just to kind of break it up. But the color palette was very fun. Just playing with dots and the texture really made me not hate this. And at the end of the day, I added these highlights, so now it almost reminds me of like 1970s bubble wallpaper. And that was my roller coaster of a week, guys. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of the video. Make sure you hit that like button, and of course hit subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, because I will see you guys next time.